in kind of a out-of-the-box appearance right now, so it looks nothing like the site that we're going to be launching and later in the spring. So don't be concerned if something looks strange or doesn't look at all like the coaching branding. It's not going to, and it's just really meant for you guys to be able to go in and start working so that we can get a lot of this data entry work accomplished before we launch the site, and it's not a crush at the very end to get in and make everything looking the way that it's going to. We're going to try in the next couple of days to pull over the existing content, and John's working on that. So for right now, we're going to show you guys the steps of how to do this. Feel free to take notes or ask questions, and then we'll be giving you essentially the all clear for when everything's been pulled over. We've tested it, make sure that it's all set for you guys to go in. So we'll be communicating in the next couple of days for when we're all set to go with that. Questions before we dive in?
Sounds good.
Good. All right, so I've turned it over to John. I think I see his screen, so yep. I will let him take it from here.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So let me know if you can't see my screen, but what you should be seeing right now is I'm at ioc.ohodev.com, and it's asking for a username and password. So if this information hasn't been shared with you, if you want to write it down, or we can email it out to you guys. The reason why we have a username and password up here is because this is a dev site, so we want to prevent people from hitting it by accident and prevent web crawlers like Google and Yahoo from actually caching all this, so it doesn't come up on search results. So the username is admin, and the password is OHO site, S-I-T-E, 1100. And I'm going to log into that.
Is that all lowercase, John?
Yeah, that's all lowercase.
Okay.
So the first thing we see is the default theme splash page, which we can ignore. The only thing we want to focus on here is login. And Jen sent me a few email addresses that I created accounts for ahead of time. So Laurel, yours is one of them. And the email address, so you can use your email address to log in. I believe yours is laurel.doggett. Did I spell that correctly? D-O-G-G-E-T-T?
Yeah. Doggett, yeah.
At institutesofcoaching.org. And the default password for all the accounts I created is just password.
All lowercase again, or?
Yep, all lowercase.
After this training, I'll send you guys an email with all this login information, both for this and for the OHO site.
Yeah, we can also, if you want, we can also go over how to change your password so it's no longer password, but it is protected by that first login that we saw before this one.
Now, can multiple people use my email address to log in and work, or do you need each person to have their own?
We created them for everybody.
Okay, because there are a few more people that can't attend this that I'll then give.
Oh, okay, yeah, send me their email addresses and we'll get those.
Okay.
So where I'd like to focus on is not this main section here, but up to the left where it says add content. And we can ignore everything except resource. So add content resource is where we want to focus. And if I click that, I'm going to get a form here where it asks me, what's the content type that we're creating here? So for this, we can just say book summary for this example. And I have some examples, so we'll just call it Mastering Drupal 7. And Jim mentioned that there's going to be an option of having a header image. So this is not a required field. Actually, all the required fields, you'll see a red asterisk right next to the label. So header image does not have a asterisk, so we don't need to put one in, but for this example, we'll put one in. I have an IOC folder here. And I just created a test header image that we can upload. And it gives you a nice little preview of what that looks like right there. And then the resource file. So this is, if your book summary is a PDF, this is where you would upload that PDF. If it's an external resource, this is where you would put in the external link. So one thing to keep in mind is right now this is not themed. One thing we were talking about yesterday was you're going to have the option of either or, either uploading a resource file or providing an external link. So once this is themed, it's going to look a little more user-friendly, where it's going to say, okay, either fill out this one, or we can make it where if you do upload a file, we just then hide the resource file link.
John, maybe you could explain what themed is, because I certainly didn't know what that word meant.
Sure. So if you have the images for the wireframes from what's the software called? Azure? Axure.
Not all these people have them.
Oh, okay. But if you've seen the designs that Eleni has done with Jim, so that's essentially applying a theme onto this. What this is right here is just proving out that the functionality works, that we're able to save data, and then we're able to view the data. So once you add theming to it, you're able to view the data differently, in a nicer, more user-friendly format.
So basically what we're doing here is just going into kind of the bare bones functionality of this form where you're entering content. When we want, later on in a few months when we launch the site, this form will actually be themed, as well as the front end will also be themed. Right. So it'll display the way that it's been displaying to users in the designs that we've been going over. And on the back end, there are Drupal admin themes that will create a more user-friendly form. It's just more attractive and easy to use. But this is the base functionality for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does that make sense to other people on the call? Because I've had access to more information.
I don't know that I understood all of the content. I do feel like, I understand, the content type title, except I don't know what the title will be of a given file or link.
Well, I think the title, I need to look at the existing contents or the existing resources that is on the Institute of Coaching site, but I believe there is already a title on the existing site. So
yeah, so for instance, in a book, it would be the title of the book. In a journal article, it would be the title of the journal article.
Makes sense.
And then to keep it really simple, and then I think there's supposed to be a summary section.
There is.
Maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, there is.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, and we can change the order of all this as well. And that's one of the things that theming gives us also, is just puts it in a better order that's more user friendly.
Okay.
For the person entering the content. But so if we're looking at where we left off, resource file, again, this is the PDF or text file or doc file, or in some cases for podcasts, the MP3 file that you would upload. Mm-hmm. So for this example, I'm going to upload a PDF called Master Drupals in 7 hours. And we'll upload that. And in this example, I don't have a resource file link because I don't have an external link to a resource. And there's no video associated with this. This video embed section is where you would put your embedded video code, where you would just copy and paste that in. So author, now we're getting to something interesting. So this, for this example, I've put in a couple authors. So if I just start typing, we can see that there's an autocomplete, right? And I can choose one. This information comes from, or maybe we don't have to get into it right now. Yeah, so we'll just fill in the author right there. We select the publication date, publication, I'll just
Wait,
say,
John, hold on.
Yep.
Is it author, last name, first name? I can't remember. We went through this.
Yeah, from what
Last
I'm
name?
seeing, it's last name, first name, and title.
Okay, and then we can have multiple and you need the quotes if people are putting in author.
Well, that was automated. So if I just
Oh.
start typing in Simpson,
Yeah.
and then there are my options, and I choose one, it puts the quotes around there for me.
What if you're putting in a new one?
So if I'm putting a new one, it's going to be comma separated, and then there's going to be text there. I believe right now there is an issue with putting in multiple, but if we try, yeah, see, Homer is not coming up now. We could try multiple. Let's see if it fails or not. It was working yesterday, but I think I might have broken it about 20 minutes before this call. So for publication, we'll just put OHO Interactive Publisher. Just something a little different than publication. And then the post date, we'll just leave today, but if you do click on this, you get a nice calendar that comes up, and you can quickly change the year.
So just to differentiate between the two different date fields, there's the publication date, which would be the date that the article was published. The post date would be today's date. Or if, as we're going through some of the older content, if you want to change that post date to when it was first initially posted, you can also do that. But
so just to give other people context too, the content is searchable by which date? The post date, correct? So it does a recent, most
Yep.
recent on top. So right. The way we want to really attack this is everything that has been put into the website this year would be the highest priority with a post date. Does it matter month, year, or this year? I don't know. That's something I guess we can talk about.
You guys can decide that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if we're going through everything, when we pull everything over in the content migration, it will likely have the date of when
today, right? Or whenever. Yeah. Okay.
Right, John?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you want to go in and change some of those, it might not be worth going back and figuring out the exact date that it was, but if it's like, stuff from, things are from November or October or September, and at least grouping them that way, you could do that so that the most recent wind up at the top.
Yeah, actually, if the data is in the database, which I'm assuming it is, of the post date, when we do the content migration, we should be able to.
Oh, that's great.
Build that in. Okay. It just depends on, we're going to have to go through the database that Ray provided and just make sure that data is in there.
Can I get clarification on publication and publisher? I see that you've done it OHO Interactive and OHO Interactive Cambridge. Yeah. If one has like an article that one is uploading that was published in a particular journal, yep. The publication might be JAMA. What is then the publisher?
So if the publication was the New England Journal of Medicine, the publisher would be the Massachusetts Medical Society. Or
and journals, I'm just trying to understand, will this information be readily accessible to those of us who are posting things?
Yeah, it's on all the journal. Every journal article, every PDF of a journal article has, Sue, help me out here, the publisher, the date, the volume, everything, but we're not getting that detailed. And the most important thing is the journal. Is it Journal of Positive Psychology? Is it Leadership Quarterly? Is it Coaching, or whatever the other two are that I can never keep straight? So there are 4 journals essentially, and the publication is the most important. And as I recall, John, if a field isn't filled out, it doesn't show up anyway on the.
Correct. Yep. So that's also going to be part of the theming process. where we'll make it so if a field is not filled out, we don't even display the label for it.
So if I were uploading a PDF of a, who knows, a magazine article that was published in Time magazine, is the publication Time and the publisher Time magazine, or it will be self-evident when I'm doing it?
I think that I would just ignore publisher right now, and it's better for books who the publishers are, and the journal, just let's get the journals in there
Okay.
until I can review the content a little bit more carefully. Books are fairly straightforward. They have, you know, a list of who the publisher is.
Yeah, and one more thing about publication and publisher is they are not required fields. They don't have the red asterisk
Right.
here.
Okay.
But Laurel, if later on you do say, you know, these do have to be required fields, then we can easily make that change.
Yeah.
It's a quick checkbox, that's all.
But it's unilateral across all content type, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that would make sense for some other things. So, yeah.
Okay, so moving on, the post date, we'll just leave as today's date, and then quotes. So we can just enter some quotes that I believe will come from in this case, the book summary itself. Right, so we'll just say, you know, Drupal 7 is a CMS, just for this scenario. Okay, so we have quotes, we have summary filled out, and coaching specialty. So from the examples I have, I've already added some. You know, I think education was one of them.
That's
if I start
gone
typing
now.
ED, you see education come up. And then resource topics, we can just say this is a resource topic, just for the sake of this demonstration. And I'm just going to hit save. Yeah, and it did complain about the multiple authors, but I will definitely fix that today. So I'm just going to go back down and remove one of the authors here. And I'll say save. And now we have resource mastering Drupal 7. So now let's take a look at what that might look like to somebody who's not logged in. So what I'm going to do is open up a new incognito window. And this is what a non-logged in person would see.
Keep in mind, the design is nothing like what it's going to be when the site launches. But these are the fields that we'll be displaying.
Yeah, so what this is meant to show that all the elements that need to be on the page are there. So then later on they can be styled properly. So for example, this header image, it can be spanned to go across all the way, or you know, I think author, publication date, publication, publisher, all those are supposed to be bunched up together with less space in between. And you know, here's the PDF file. Right now it is accessible to somebody just anonymous, not logged in. So these are things that you know, are the next steps, because I believe that needs to have a lock on it.
So you'll notice that the author field is a link, because on the front end you'll be able to click on everything else by that author. The same with the specialty, the coaching specialty, and the same with the topics. So you'll see back on the detail page that all of those are links that you'll be able to click on. So those are just things, you know, you can, after entering the data, you just want to go in, and this is a good way to check and make sure that everything is displaying the way it should be displayed. You'll see the dates from the date picker have displayed as, you know, Friday, December 19th instead of just 1/19, things like that.
Now, can you, we'll need to actually check off multiple coaching specialties.
Yep.
So, okay, so you'll make sure that there's a drop down that you can just check it goes here, 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 or?
Yep, right now it's a type ahead, but we are going to change it to a drop down. That was one of the things Akeem mentioned yesterday, to change it to a drop down.
Okay.
I just need to download another plugin to use on top to allow multiple.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
And then the topics, we're making that up, right? I mean, that's up
Yep.
to us to figure out topics.
Right. So this taxonomy that we had read on,
Yes.
but then, yeah, the topics, you can keep adding topics. I think it makes sense to kind of put some thought behind that and come up with a list, at least to start with, but that's completely in your control.
Sure, got it. Okay. And then what about the what do you call the you know, I thought we had to come up with
It's just the word you're looking for.
what am I looking for?
Words.
Search words or something.
Keywords.
Keywords, thank you.
The topics essentially are the keywords.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then so we're entering data or fixing data to go in and just so everyone knows that we won't be putting the pictures at that top will be at the end. Where would the picture of the book go that's in this example, in that summary section? Because it wouldn't be at the top because it sorts somehow.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Where would the picture of the book go? Of the cover of the book?
That would go in the summary.
Okay, and are there so we have a lot of book pictures already that are in our database coming over in the process?
You're talking about during the migration process, right?
Yes, yeah, we have a file with pictures.
Yeah, it all depends on how the data is stored in the database.
Okay.
So for example, if the image is right there in the database, I should be able to grab it. If the database has a link that I can grab, if the database is just something like, test.jpg, then I'll probably have to work more with Ray to figure out where is that file and where can I grab it.
Okay, because we had book sizes and, we had sort of standard set for photo images on books, and that will be important because it sounds like
the dimensions of the image.
Yeah, so it seems like in this CMS you can put whatever size you want, or will that be themed?
No, that's so there's a configuration. So if I scroll back up here,
yeah,
right now you can, where it says header image here, but there are ways to restrict the size.
But the header image wouldn't be where the book image went.
Oh, right. So we'll have, down here.
Yeah.
In summary, I should be able to add code to restrict the size of an image, or if we do get a size that's bigger, we're going to have to shrink it down to the size that we want. But if it was a separate image field,
I think most of the book images are fairly small PNGs, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so there is no separate field for image. How do we do it in our current website? I forget.
It goes in the summary field.
It goes in the summary field too. All right. So it sounds like if the the book images can't be restricted in size and they don't come over appropriate, then we need to have some standard size images so that we're all putting in the same size, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it sounds like what you have already is they're all probably sized consistently, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my recommendation would be, we should first take a shot at migrating the data that's currently there.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at what those images look like.
Okay.
And once they're migrated in, and we can cross the bridge if we get to it on putting restrictions on upload size in the summary. Because I think I should be able to handle it programmatically, where if someone gives me a very large image, I should be able to shrink it down on save. Therefore, it makes it more user-friendly to the content editor.
Right.
Because they can just upload the image they have and not worry about the dimensions, and then I can, on my end, scale the dimensions. The only thing that I think we'll need to get into eventually, if we do take that route, is, sometimes when we scale images, they look skewed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just need to talk about to make sure it's either a rectangle image or a square image, that the ratio is a proper one.
Mm.
Well,
Okay, so I think, in the wireframe and on the visual design, when you do a search for content, it shows an option for an image there with the content next to it, or no image and it's just content. And I would assume that would drive some sort of size with that wireframe.
Oh, for the search, I think we generate a thumbnail.
Yeah.
Oh, you generate a thumbnail.
For the search results.
Yeah, where is that thumbnail? So it's drawing from the summary, that same image then?
So that's something that I don't think I've discussed with anyone yet.
Okay. Because that should be the same image. I think we don't want to be like triple uploading.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my question is probably, if the summary can contain multiple images, then do we just automatically grab the first image to thumbnail that, or should we provide a separate field here
for the one image that is
for the thumbnail / icon or the book image? We'll call it, resource image fields.
Does that sound like a good solution, Laurel? So we'd have one field where you upload a photo that will be included. It'll be the first photo in the body of that article, and then will also be the photo that shows up in search, and then you can still add more in the summary, but that you'll be designating the one that shows up.
Well, I think that we don't want it to be mandatory that there's a photo, because then we're trying to find 600 photos for
No, it wouldn't be mandatory.
Okay. Yeah.
If there's no photo, it just doesn't appear, and it all kind of falls up on the page.
Can I?
Sue, hold that thought 1 minute, because Sue does so much in the back end. I want to get her input here regarding a separate field for a photo that wouldn't be required but would be the one that's pulled.
No, I definitely think that would be helpful.
You think that would be helpful?
Yeah,
okay.
I was thinking the same thing as you. I thought it was going to be required, and that's just not going to happen. But it's not required, then absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
My question, I had two questions. One was, most of the photos that we are currently using on the website are 75 pixels by 100 or square, like 220 by 220. Just point of information if that's helpful.
Yeah.
The other is, it's not clear to me when one is adding a picture to the summary field, if one is dragging and dropping, if one is just giving you the title of the picture as a JPEG or PNG, and if one is saying you're grabbing the first picture to the thumbnail, because they will be presumed possibly coming in alphabetically, is there a way to stipulate which is the first one that you should use for the thumbnail?
So it sounds like if we do take the approach of having a separate field,
Yeah.
that is the one that designates this is the image to be used for the thumbnail. And then we can go ahead and copy in the summary, just the way it sounds like you're doing on the current site. So you'll have the image for the thumbnail be separate from the images in the summary. Does that make sense?
Okay, that sounds good. Yes, that sounds great. And I can explain people offline what it looks like in the search function. The other question I have is sometimes we use a lot of the same images just to save time. For instance, the Journal of Leadership Quarterly, you know, is there possible to have like a file and you can just go pick and say use this one, is that, okay.
Yeah, definitely. So what we can do is rather than uploading the same file over and over and over, Drupal has something that we can add on that says, show me all the images that I've already uploaded to Drupal. And then that way you can pick one of the existing images, so it doesn't have to re-upload an image. So you'll have all these resources all pointing to the same image.
And when one is putting an image in the summary, is that a drag and drop function or typing the name or?
Yeah, so to answer that question, I don't think we can do drag and drop. I can look into it.
Or a browser of some kind. I just didn't see the mechanism for getting it in the summary.
Yep, so if we go down to summary, right now summary doesn't have what's called a WYSIWYG, but I'm going to add one on there. If I scroll up here, the video embed does have it. So this has an image icon right here that I'm hovering over, add media. So if I type, you know, this is my fake summary, and we want to put an image. And actually, I think this is it right here, library, where these are images that have already been uploaded. So I'll take this one. To be honest, I haven't tested this feature yet, so I'm actually testing it while we're talking about it here. But it should have chosen this image, submit, and if it doesn't show it there, I'm wondering if it'll show it on. Let's try preview here. Yeah, so it did do it twice. So one of the issues that I saw there is it's not giving the person entering content any feedback that the image is actually there. So that's something that we can definitely look into. So to answer your question, I don't think it's going to be a drag and drop, but it's going to be something as you just saw, where we can click a button and choose an existing image that we've uploaded or upload a new image.
Great, thanks.
I see. Oh, okay, because if we have text. No, it still doesn't show it, so that might be an issue with this. And then if I say preview again, we should see that new image that I uploaded, which is, yeah, right there. So the issue I'm seeing right now is it's just not giving the content editor any feedback that the image is actually there.
Oh, even though you've added it, okay.
Even though I've added it, even though they do appear here when I'm viewing the resource. So that's something we'll resolve.
Okay.
And then, oh, sorry, go ahead.
The other, they were sort of make it live, make it not live. You know, how do we know when content's come over, someone has actually worked on it? I think you were saying that there was a process where it would be, you click something. Yeah, published, unpublished, or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I can set it up so that this needs to be approved for publishing.
And then if it's approved, then we know as a team that essentially that page is live, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then the other pieces then would be if it's to be locked content or open content for the public site.
Right.
Right, okay.
Could you say that again, Laurel?
Most of the content will be locked for and only available to the members, but to entice people, we're going to unlock certain types of certain content so that it's available and entices. And the only other thing I'm not seeing here is how to curate the curated resources. So eventually, I guess that will happen because we'll input articles, right, and then they'll need to be part of the master class and etc. So I guess that is another iteration.
Yeah, that'll be a later step because first you have to have all the articles in before you can pull them together. Yep.
Yeah. And John, are you recommending that we link to our YouTube videos or embed? What's the best? And
that's really your call. My personal approach would be to embed the videos.
Okay.
That way people remain on your site.
Yeah, I think the YouTube videos, you want to embed them. For the ones that are hosted elsewhere, like I know there's some that are on...
Yeah, the conference, yeah.
Yeah, for those, you can use that external link. So you can find the page that lives on the partner site and just link to it like we're in that resource link piece.
Okay. I guess we need to see it too.
Hello?
What's that?
Was there a question?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I can enter unlimited authors. Because I've done a lot of
something I'm going to resolve today.
Yeah.
Yes, you will be able to.
Okay, thanks.
So Laurel, real quickly on the fly, I did set it up so they're not published automatically, and this is what ends up happening right now. It's unpublished, and due to your specific user does not have permission to publish resource types. That's why we're getting this form. But I'm gonna give you guys permission to also publish resources. So by default, they will be unpublished when you create new resources, and then you would have to publish them.
You'd have to click something?
Yeah, exactly. So when you click Save on a new resource, instead of seeing this screen, you'll have the option to publish it.
Okay.
That's great.
All right, so basically it sounds like you're given sort of the guts of Drupal, and then you have to program it and tweak it to fit our needs. Is that a correct understanding? I mean, is this Drupal or Drupal Commons, or which one is this?
This is Drupal Commons.
Okay.
And yeah, so what Drupal Commons does is gives you some out-of-the-box tools.
Yeah.
Some of them you're free to use all of them, but in this case we don't need every single tool that Drupal Commons comes with. For example, there's create a poll, create a wiki, things like that. We don't need. But then what we do is we do program Drupal to meet your specific needs.
All right, and it sounds like as we go through and use it, if there are things that we notice in terms of setup, I should compile points for you, John. Is that a good strategy, or?
Yeah, I think when you say in terms of setup, I would just want to make sure that we reiterate again that since it's not themed, so for example, this is, when I go to ioc.ohodev.com, this is what it looks like. It says what's going on, and it shows you everything that's just been posted.
Yeah.
And this is just sample content, recent site activity. Once it's themed for Institute of Coaching, you're not going to see any of this. You're going to see what Eleni provided in her
okay.
design.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as that form for entering content, if there's something you're running into that
yeah, that's
you
what I mean.
need that isn't the way you understood it to be, or there's some kind of funky bug happening,
Yeah.
I think it would be best if people discover that as they're doing this, if you can let Laurel know, and then, yeah, Laurel, if you just want to send me kind of a compiled list, that would be helpful. And we can go through and kind of figure out one by one.
Okay, yeah. All right. Any other questions? I'll be so curious how you get stuff over and how it looks.
Yeah, I need to dig deeper into that database that Ray provided.
Yeah, it really sounds though realistically, given Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. I mean, truthfully, we're looking probably at the beginning of January. Or do you think you'll get something done by Wednesday of?
That's my hope.
That's your hope, okay.
Yeah. I know.
No pressure, John. No pressure.
Yeah. No, I know. In reality, I get pulled onto other fires that come up.
Yeah.
But hopefully, if I can be in a bubble and just focus on the content migration.
Yeah.
Then I think Wednesday is a good hope.
I'll try to put him in a bubble.
Yeah.
Okay, bubbleize him. So really, we're talking, that January, the end of December, if possible. But really, we're starting January 5th. I think is really realistic given the holidays. So.
Starting for.
Just to fix the content if it doesn't migrate, or can we add content now that may not even be in the website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
All right. That could be something we could test around. All right.
Yeah. Great.
Super. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. I'll send the recording of this. I'll send you the login information for everyone, and then Laurel, if you want to send me those names that I didn't have, so we can get them set up.
Sure.
Let me know, and then we'll keep you posted on the migration. But yeah, if there's stuff that isn't on the current site that you want to go ahead and start doing, that'd be great.
Okay.
Can somebody help me understand, once you've done the migration, how whatever is migrated integrate? I understand what you just told me in the past hour, but I don't have in my grasp the relationship between what's on the website and what I am plugging into create a resource. I fear I haven't made myself clear.
Not sure I understand.
Sorry. I think we don't know yet until he migrates over, but in the ideal scenario for those people who are going to work specifically on journals, the ideal scenario is the content will populate very easily, and the title of the article will show up in title. It'll default to a journal article. It will, yeah, you might want to check the content types, and yeah, and then all you have to do is review it and attach it to a coaching specialty, because that won't be, and a topic, and then you're good to go. That would be the ideal scenario, and then it's published.
And create some kind of summary of what the article.
Well, the abstract would be the summary. So there is no summary creating. It's the abstract is the summary.
So one loads the abstract into the summary field?
Well, ideally, it would be populated in the migration, and if not, the abstract would be the summary, yes.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Well, it sounds to me like some of this is going to happen on an automated basis during the migration, and then we are going to supplement that by doing this manually where it didn't occur?
Correct.
Yep. So,
and adding fields and topics, coaching specialty and topics.
Okay.
Yeah, our goal is to try to get 100% of the fields automated during the migration. But in some cases, if all the data is not there in the database that I was given, for example, you would go in and edit an existing resource type, and I'll use this for example, and let's say coaching specialty is blank. You would just need to then go to the existing resource on the current site, see what the coaching specialty is, and fill it out here and save it.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right, thank you. Well, we look forward to the next iteration and wish you good luck, John.
May your migration be smooth.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Believe me, we want it to be.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can chat later. I know, Jen, we're talking later on. So.
Yep. Perfect.
All righty. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, everyone, on a Friday. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.